Good evening, and welcome. My name is David Solomon, and I'm the director of the Notre Dame Center for Ethics and Culture, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to this, our 11th annual fall conference. I know some of you have been at all 10 of the previous conferences. We always have a nice mix of old attendees and new, but we welcome you old-timers back and greet the people who are here for the first time. This conference this year will be the largest one we've had so far, and I'm convinced it also has papers of the highest quality of any of our conferences. There will be over 120 presentations this weekend by scholars from North America, South America, and Europe. We have, as usual, papers by distinguished scholars from the academic world, from graduate students, undergraduate students, clergy, professionals in medicine, law, and the business world. We sort of regretted this year, for the first time, I believe ever, we don't have a single paper by a high school student. We normally at least have a couple. Oh, you're kidding me. You're in high school? And we let you in. No, no, sorry. I didn't realize that. Which school are you from? Okay. I stand corrected. We continue, yes, indeed. Our record intact. We always have a high school student on the program. While we encourage diverse voices at this conference, our agenda is always shaped by our deep commitment to the critical response to modern culture found in the Catholic intellectual tradition, especially as it's expressed in the encyclicals and other writings of Pope John Paul II and Pope Benedict XVI. We continue to believe that there's no surer guide to understanding contemporary culture and to shaping it in appropriate ways. Now, we're very proud of the fact that this conference always attracts the most diverse and interesting crowd, I believe, of any conference at Notre Dame. We ask our presenters, and we'll ask them again this year, to couch their ideas in ways that are accessible to an educated and non-specialist audience. We encourage all of you in the audience to participate in the discussion in the same spirit. We encourage tough and respectful questions from the floor. We also try to create an atmosphere outside the formal sessions in which we can all share meals together and continue discussions began in the formal session. I think almost everyone who's been to our conferences agrees we have the best food of any conference held on the Notre Dame campus each year. We're especially proud of the number of undergraduate students and non-academics who regularly attend this conference. As usual, Baylor University has provided air transportation for a number of their finest undergraduate students, the Crane Scholars at Baylor, to attend this conference. The University of St. Thomas, Professor Kemp just told me St. Thomas brought down 38 students this year. We're very proud to have them here. He said someday they might bring so many we'd have to turn them away. I said we will never turn them away. Bring them on. A number of other universities have also sent large contingents of students and faculty to join us. And we welcome all of you and encourage you to participate fully in the feast of conversation that we'll be having this weekend. Our topic for this year's conference is a little different, I think, than the topics we've had before. We call the conference Younger Than Sin, Retrieving Simplicity Through the Virtues of Humility, Wonder, and Joy. And I must say, I was a little resistant to this topic. When we always select the topic for this conference by hard-headed dialectic around the Center for Ethics and Culture, and it was particularly intense this year. Sitting somewhere down front are Catherine Wales, who was our program coordinator at the time we were picking this topic, and her husband Jordan, who were responsible for pushing this topic, and I was responsible for resisting it. But I must say, I was bowled over, and when the papers came in for this conference, Catherine and Jordan were completely vindicated. I think we had the most interesting papers we've ever had submitted for the conference, and so many of them we had to turn down many marvelous papers. Our hope was that at this conference we could gain some understanding, with your help, of remarks in his 2009 Christmas homily where Pope Benedict XVI suggested that it is the simple souls who receive most readily the truth and have therefore the shortest journey to make. The shepherds, the simple souls, as he said, were the first to come to Jesus in the manger and to encounter the Redeemer because they lived nearby, whereas the wise men, who represent those with social standing and fame, arrived later and needed guidance and direction. First time I've ever heard anybody attack the Christmas star, as it were. But the phrase younger than sin we took from a passage in a novel by Bernanos where he described the Blessed Virgin kneeling by the manger in these terms. Universities, of course, are places where simplicity is not always admired and sophistication is held in high regard. We hope at this conference to recover some sense of the value of simplicity and to recover some reasons why we should pursue simplicity and its companion virtues, humility, wonder, and joy. Before we get underway tonight, I have just a few housekeeping details, and let me go through those, and then we will turn to the introduction of our keynote speaker tonight. I trust all of you in your packets. If you haven't registered, you should register after this talk at the little counter right out here. In your packet, you will find a full program for this conference, and you need the program. You can't negotiate this without the scorecard. The structure of the program is you'll find in the opening pages a very bare outline of the entire 2.5 days of the conference. When you move forward, you find a very detailed outline with abstracts of all of the papers. And we put those in this year in response to comments and suggestions many of you made, that there's so many choices at this conference, you wish you had more information about each session. So you will find in here much more information than usual, and I encourage you to attend to the program in making your selections. You will find, if you need computer facilities, fax machines, copy machines, all of those things will be found at the desk in this building, magnificently equipped building down at the desk on my far right side. There's also a room down there where you can get on a computer if you want to check your email. You'll find that. And if you can't find it, ask someone and they'll give you directions. The meals this year are even more complicated than ever. Some of you I know were disappointed because we had to close registration early because we have finally gone way beyond the bounds of this building. And indeed, we've even gone farther than we thought because the fire marshal has finally intruded and reduced the number of people we can have in the basement dining room. The main site for the meals will again be the lower level of this building, but where we normally have 340 people in there, the fire marshal has required us only to have 250 this year. So the first 250 people to get to meals will eat in the lower level as usual. After that, you still go to the lower level, and we send you to that tunnel which goes under the Grove out here over into the Morris Inn, where there will be 2 spacious dining rooms, one that will seat 80 more people and another one that will seat another 40 or 50. We ask you, when we filled up the 250 downstairs, to fill up the 80-person dining room and then the 40 or 50-person dining room. There's food for everybody who's registered. We also, as usual, we will extend food to even some of those who haven't paid for it. We've paid for all the food here, but we always have some people who don't show up for the meals. If you're hungry and you want to eat and you haven't registered, we will have our usual arrangement. At the bottom of the stairs, going to the lower level, there will be someone there for you to ask about food. You don't have to ask for food. What we will ask you to do is wait there for a minute till the people who are registered fill up all the spots, and when the meal is sort of 3 or 4 minutes in, we will allow all of you to fill in the spots. And we have never run out of seats here at the meals. But it's a very full house, and we're very flattered by that. I have to also tell you, those of you who have special meal requests, you're vegetarians or you're Orthodox or whatever, you should get in your packet a little tag which you will put next to your plate when you eat. And that will give a sign to the waiters to bring you your special meal. It's your responsibility to keep that tag throughout the weekend. So you have to bring it to each meal or you'll have to eat red meat if you lose it. I believe that's all about the food. I would encourage you to look around at the book exhibits. We, as usual, have a wonderful range of book exhibits up on the second floor. The fire marshal, again, has forced us to move all of those upstairs. Bruce Fingerhut and his wonderful St. Augustine's Press is up there with a huge spread. Eighth Day Books is there, Notre Dame Press, Notre Dame Bookstore. It's lots of things to look at. Please find some time during the conference to go up there. If you need any help at the conference, those people, there will be some people with yellow tags. Those are our student assistants. Well, actually, you can ask anybody for help. We're a friendly group. But the people with yellow tags are being paid to answer your questions and help you find your way around. One other slightly techie detail. Many of you always want a roster from this conference with contact information, and we're happy to provide that, but we have to be very careful about getting permission from people to give out that information. This year, in some way, in our online registration, we didn't follow the law completely in getting this permission, so we're having a sort of backup procedure. You'll find in your packet something such that if you want to contribute your contact information and you want to receive the contact information from everybody who's willing to share it, you have to fill out this little form and submit it by hand. And a day or two after the conference, you will receive contact information from everybody at the conference. If that's not clear, ask somebody with a yellow tag, and they will explain it to you. We hope that while you're here, you enjoy the campus, especially those of you who are here for the first time. This is a gorgeous campus, and believe it or not, it may seem a little cold to those of you from Baylor, but this is wonderful weather for the middle of November in South Bend, and you should be grateful. The campus is very beautiful in its sort of November-ish look. If you step outside this building and turn to your right, you will walk right through the heart of the Notre Dame campus, right by a beautiful 19th century French Gothic basilica, right past the grotto. You will run into the lakes, and you can walk around the lakes, which will bring you right back to where you started. And there's a wonderful art museum on this campus. You certainly should see the basilica. There will be regular 5:15 masses both tomorrow night and a special mass celebrated by Bishop Rhodes on Saturday night to bring the conference to a close. We invite you to enjoy the campus and walk or run around it. It's a beautiful place.